Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to Kobe Thinks. As I said last time, I am trying to start doing it more regularly and doing more actual series. Two of which you've already seen the beginnings of. My conspiracy series, which we've been doing for a while now. My dinosaur series, which I just started last week, and then this week I'm starting the beginning of a new series, which is where I talk about cryptids, conspiracies, cryptids. I can't really do one without the other because I love them both, and out of the two of them, I probably love cryptids more. And so I thought, what a better way to start off that series than go back to my root of why I love cryptids. So imagine me, 12 years old, browsing Netflix with my 9-year-old brother. I've already watched all the dinosaur documentaries they had at the time, and we'd gotten tired of checking to see if the new Ninjago season had been added to Netflix yet, which it always hadn't. It was very frustrating. So we could get pretty deep into the archives of Netflix's options in 2014 or so. What we did stumble upon was a docu-series where some guy, I can't remember his name now, went to a bunch of different places looking for all their weird creatures. I think he also did one about like a strange ape-like thing in China or Indonesia. I can't remember which one because it didn't stick with me as much as this one did. The first episode was called The Search for the Mongolian Death Worm. Now, this one caught my eye for a couple reasons. One, it was in the Gobi Desert, which is in Mongolia and is a place where a lot of the dinosaur documentaries I was interested in at the time were filmed. So I was interested immediately. Even though it wasn't about dinosaurs, it was like, oh, I know this place. So I was interested. My brother, who was 9, he was a 9-year-old boy. He was like, Death Worm sounds like my entire cup of tea. So this we begin the series, and then our foray into cryptids for the rest of the summer. And then, life went on, and I'm still obsessed with cryptids. So yeah, that is what we're doing today. We're doing the Death Worm. Obviously, I'm going to do more like mainstream ones. I'm going to do more obscure ones, just like the different dinosaurs, just like the different conspiracies. It's just picking and choosing which ones I like best and which ones I want to talk about. So today we're talking about this one. And basically, the Mongolian Death Worm is, as you would expect, a giant worm. When I say giant, to mean about 2 feet long. It's also, in every single description of it, claimed to be sausage shaped, which if you've ever seen a sausage and you've seen a worm, they're basically the same shape. So I think it's really funny that they constantly say both of these things when one would do just fine. You would know what it looks like. And I'll have an artist's rendition here. Basically, what we've got is a giant worm that burrows in the desert sand in the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. I know the Gobi Desert also goes into China, and I'm not sure if the Mongolian death worm also lives there, if it stops at the border. I didn't find that in my research, so who's to say? But basically, it's a death worm because it will spit venom at you that then paralyzes you, and it will also shoot you with lightning. Or at least it'll electrocute you from a distance, which to me sounds like shooting lightning. And so that's just what I'm going to call it that, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the lightning spell in Dungeons and Dragons. So that's just what I'm calling it. And one article I found actually said that the lightning part made it unique among terrestrial animals, to which I kind of responded like, yeah, no shit. That's why this is crazy, right? That's why it's called a death worm. And we all agree that the thing is crazy. That's why it's like a cryptozoological freak of nature, and not just like an animal. There's a lot of venomous things that can just spit acid at you, and it's like or venom, acid or venom. It said both in the articles. Some were a little more sensationalized than others, so who's to say? I don't know. I don't know why that was the line here, but yeah, there you go. The death worm is unique. Not because it's a death worm, but just because of the fact that it can shoot lightning at you. Where it was first seen was surprisingly in Mongolia. Most articles cite Roy Chapman Andrews as bringing it to the attention of the Western world. And this guy I actually know a pretty good amount about, because he was a British paleontologist who went to Mongolia before World War II, discovered a lot of shit, filmed a lot of shit, And as far as that goes, I might even make a video about him in the future because he did a lot of interesting things, especially in the paleontological world. Um, but for this, he's very much a secondary source. Basically, how he heard about it was the prime minister of Mongolia at the time told him about it, but he didn't see it himself, and he actually didn't even believe that it exists. But he wrote it down in his book, which I'll put a picture of here because I can't remember the title when I'm recording it. Which, he wrote as this British guy going off into the world, and it is what it is. As far as actual first sightings, it seems like there's just a lot of folklore embedded in their culture in Mongolia about this. And that around there, it's kind of like this thing, like, yeah, that's a thing. That's why no one goes out into the desert. Like, it's uninhabitable and there's a death worm, Like, humans have live in uninhabitable places. We have people living in space in the space station. Like, it wouldn't be that hard to inhabit the Mongolian desert. Do we want to? I don't know. I don't know if we do, because there might be a death worm out there. But like, it is kind of akin to Bigfoot in America in that way, is that everyone seems to know someone who knows someone who saw the death worm or got hurt and killed by the death worm. So there is like a lot of stories about it, and it's kind of just a very common story over there, but there's no recorded first sightings. As for like what it actually might be, a lot of people have said it's probably like a snake, or, as I discovered existed while researching this video, a legless lizard. And so now I'm going to go on a tangent about that because I think that's crazy. I didn't know until this week that there were lizards without legs that weren't just snakes. And apparently, that the difference of these, I'm going to tell you all the differences because this was really, really interesting to me, and it's kind of connected to this in a very minor, small way. Basically, this difference is that snakes are in the Serpentes family and lizards are from the Aguidae family. If I mispronounced that, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I just wrote it down, and now I'm saying it out loud. Legless lizards are about 2 to 4 feet long, which does fit inside the deathworm size, and snakes go from 2 to 12 feet long, also fitting in the deathworm size. Legless lizards weigh 10 to 20 ounces, and snakes weigh from 5 ounces to hundreds of pounds. There's 17 to 80 species of legless lizards, which, to be clear, was way more than I expected there to be. I thought there was like, oh, there's this one legless lizard that we just still have classified as a lizard because of X, Y, and Z. But no, there's 17 to 80 of them. And there's over 3,000 species of snakes. So legless lizards also have eyelids and ear holes, and snakes don't have that. So if you ever find a lizard without legs and you're like, oh, that's a snake, don't be so sure. It might just be a lizard where it doesn't have any legs. Regardless of those two differences, either one of those could have been the Mongolian deathworm, minus the lightning, if you want it to be boring. I personally love the idea that it's a real thing, even though there's just about zero evidence for it. As far as actual evidence, no bodies of the deathworm have ever been found, and bodies actually get preserved really well in the Gobi Desert. There's also, like I said, there's great fossils there, and current life forms that die there also get preserved real well just because it's super dry and hot. And so just kind of like, it's like those natural mummies you'll find in the Sahara as well. If there was a body of a deathworm to find, people probably would have found it. No live specimens have ever been found either. It's never been caught in video or in a picture, and as far as I can find, there's no specific confirmed people who died and had deathworm as a cause of death, which, to be perfectly honest, I feel like that would stand out. If they were paralyzed and hit with lightning, it would be just a deathworm. Like, unless there's something else that could do that, which according to that one article is impossible because the lightning makes it unique, then, who's to say? I feel like it would be able to be classified pretty easily as a deathworm victim, but I haven't been able to find any of those in my research. I would like to say, because I want this thing to be real, because I think it's kind of neat and just bizarre, maybe the deathworm just, opens up and swallows it whole like a snake, and that's just, there's just a missing person, and you can't find their body, and you just don't know that it happened to them. So that could be it. And since the Gobi Desert is mostly uninhabited, not many people even go there these days to encounter it. And besides that, the Gobi is 500,000 square miles large, which is bigger than every state in the US except for Alaska. So it's really, really big. It's even bigger than Texas, which I know they're probably sad about. They wish they were as big as the Gobi Desert. But Texas just, they just, it wasn't big. To be clear, states are way too huge. Like, I don't know why they are the way they are or who decided that. But once you get out west, they're just massive and they're just gigantic. I can, like, drive for 4 hours and still be in Utah, and I'm devastated about that because that's not where I want to be. But, it's where I am, and I'm chilling. I'm chilling here, and there's no death where I'm here, unless there is. I'm pointing at popcorn. She's tired. She wants me to go to bed. It is currently almost 2 a.m. as I'm filming this, so. I'm having a good time. That's basically all I could really find. As far as, like, actual stories where this would go, a lot of it is word of mouth. A lot of it is like stories that you hear from each other, a lot like Bigfoot and stuff. There have been a lot of TV shows that, like, go out and try to get it, like the one I mentioned, Watching with My Brother. That was a true story, by the way. I didn't make that up just to segue in. That's, like, an actual occurrence that happened in the summer of 2014 or a year around there, when me and my brother were super bored and didn't want to go outside because it was summer vacation and we didn't have anything to do. And so we were like, oh, we'll watch this. So there's that for you. A little nugget of my life that I've shared with everyone. But yeah, the Mongolian death worm I find really, really interesting. I also find the lack of research about it and evidence for it really telling, and that's really disappointing to me because I want it to be real. But, most likely, scientifically speaking, people have probably just gotten killed by venomous snakes in the desert and attributed it to this death worm. I'm not sure where the lightning came from. That could be just really, really old folklore, or someone wanted to tell a really cool story, or someone got struck by lightning in the desert, or there's some kind of static thing. I don't know. Deserts are weird. But yeah. So that's the Mongolian death worm. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. I am going to be able to go more deep into cryptids that have more research done about them. So look forward to possibly longer videos. I try to keep it under 15 minutes if I can. But who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll just be cranking out 2-hour long videos like Wendigoon or some shit. And I'll just be doing that. But to be clear, the editing that sounds like hell. So I don't know if I'll be doing that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, hit like, subscribe, hit me up in the comments if you have a cryptid you want me to talk about. And next week I'll be talking about another dinosaur. The week after that, a conspiracy, then a dinosaur, and then the next cryptid. So once a month you're going to be getting a cryptid video. Once a month you're going to get a conspiracy video, and then twice a month you're going to get a dinosaur topic. Just because I like those. So yeah. Other than that, you can find me on Kobe Thinks on basically literally every single social media that I have. It's just Kobe Thinks. You can hit the first link in the description if you want to go see my merch, which it has popcorn designs, my logo designs, and my Vibe Central designs. I don't have any of my merch is all in my closet. I don't want to go get it, so you can just imagine it, or you can just click on the link and go see if you like any of the merch. And we are also going to have new merch options very, very soon. And all my sources that I used in this video are going to be linked in the description below, so you can find them there. Other than that, that is everything for this week. And hasta la pasta. I will see you next time.